Hello and thank you for watching. My name is Rachel Barnett with Gentle Frog. I'm here to create videos for you to help you understand QuickBooks slightly better than you currently do. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them in the chat box. Thank you.
Hi there. In this video, I want to talk to you about our quality control checklist. This is not the checklist that we use internally. This is the checklist we've created for our clients, for our do-it-yourselfers, to feel a little bit more comfortable navigating their QuickBooks and to give them the ability to double check themselves. So what I want to do is go through the balance sheet section of this checklist. I am making videos for each of the sections, so if you do get stuck, if you don't understand something, you'll be able to go to that video rather than watching one horribly long video. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, any of that, please leave them down below. Okay, so first thing we want to do is display our balance sheet on a rolling 12 months with a monthly view. I'm going to use Craig's Design and Landscape Service for this. If you're not familiar with Craig's Design and Landscape Service, it's the QuickBooks Online sample file. If you ever want to get to this, just Google QuickBooks Online Test Drive. So what we'll do is we'll start on the left and we'll click on Reports. We're then going to click on Balance Sheet. We're going to scroll up. We're going to change the dates, and I'm just going to do it over here with my 10 key. So I'm going to say from 1/1/22 through 12/31/22, and then display columns by. I'm going to change the drop down from total only to say months. On the right hand side, I'm going to select Run Report. So now I've got my balance sheet. It looks like my business really started in August, so there's nothing to look at for the early part of the year. That's totally fine. We'll pretend like there is. Once you get the gist of what you're looking at, not to criticize what we see in this sample file. So we want to make sure that each account with the statement is reconciled. Gosh, I jumped ahead of myself. This will not be the first time you see me do this. So this happens to all of us. I thought that I was going to look at this report, but then I realized that I really want to look at a different report. No problem. I don't want to lose my work, so I'm just going to come over to the tab that says Craig's Design. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say Duplicate. So now I can preserve my report and I can have a place that I can navigate around. I want to go Accounting Reconcile. And over to the right, I want to click on Summary. Every last one of us has the ability to click on Summary. Your summary might be really boring like this one, or it might be really long. When I look at the summary, I'm looking at the reconciliation summary. It's going to list out not every account that I should be reconciling, but rather these are the accounts that I have reconciled. So I have reconciled an account that I've called checking. It is an account type called bank. So it's not a credit card, it's not a loan, it's a bank account. The statement was dated 10/31/2022. I myself did my reconciling in January. I mean, in a perfect world, I would do it monthly, but I don't think I'm that disappointed in myself that I didn't get it done until January. That's life, right? I'm good with that. So the first item on my checklist is to ensure each account is reconciled. Each account with a statement is reconciled. So this is the only account that I have that I've ever reconciled. But let me just go to banking real quick. When I look at these little tiles, I know at a glance that I have a checking account, I have a savings account, and I have a MasterCard account. You and I both know each one of those accounts gets a statement. So there is a tiny chance that I might have forgotten to reconcile my other accounts. I'm going to put that on my to-do list. I need to go reconcile my accounts. If you're not familiar with how to reconcile, I have videos for that. So let's do the next thing. Look for uncategorized asset. Man, I tell you what, this is just the silliest thing. I'll first show you where it's at, and then I'll show you how I got there. Uncategorized asset, if it existed in your QuickBooks, would be right in here with other current assets. Give me just a moment. I'm going to add an entry so you can see what it looks like. So I just made a real quick journal entry so that I could get the uncategorized asset to show up so you could visualize with me where it's at. It's this line right here. There is no uncategorized asset. This account serves a purpose. I'm not entirely sure what that purpose is. For me, it serves the purpose of job security because I have to help people fix it when they choose this account. I'm going to encourage you to please, if you see something in uncategorized asset, delete it and start over. That's just the easiest blanket answer for what to do. Please, just disclaimer, don't delete anything from a previous tax year because your tax person will get really mad at you because you messed up the records. You want everything to look like it did when they filed your tax return. Let me talk to you about how the uncategorized asset shows up. What will happen is that clients will come over here to their banking and they'll start working on the list of downloaded banking, and they'll review and they'll click add. Sometimes people forget that they need to look at the category or match column and make a decision. Is this information correct or is it not correct? Right now, QuickBooks is suggesting that Hicks Hardware has the payee of Hicks Hardware, and that the reason Hicks Hardware got $24.38 is because of something called uncategorized asset. Now, this is a sample QuickBooks. We don't actually know why they got $24. But if this was your business, you would know. Maybe it was job supplies, maybe it was cleaning supplies, maybe the hardware store had the best coat rack ever, right? Whatever it is, it's never uncategorized asset. So the mistake I see people make is they click add. Let me go here. Let me just change this to all dates, run report. When they click add, it just increases this number. So I'm going to click on it, and you can see there's a journal entry I added plus this transaction. I really want to discourage you from putting anything into uncategorized asset because that is not where it should go. I can't think of anything that should go in there. So from me to you, best practice, if you see something in uncategorized asset, if your tax person hasn't seen that it's there yet, just come in here, go over here to more, go to delete, yes to delete. It'll come here into banking, and then you can pick wherever it's supposed to go. So Hicks Hardware 288 should go to this other thing. That may mess you up if you see a warning about how your account's been reconciled. Like, hold tight, talk to a friend, talk to your bookkeeper, talk to me. But otherwise, if you're going through your monthly review of your records and you happen to see that, just put it back and start over. So the next one I want you to look for is balances that are out of place. I don't mean that your balance sheet doesn't balance. It's going to balance. You don't have to do anything to make that happen. When I say balance, I mean your assets, which come down here. You have this divider line, your $23,000. That is always going to equal your liabilities plus your equity, $23,000. That's just magic. You don't have to do anything. What I want you to do, and I mean it, I want you to look at these numbers, and if anything seems super, super crazy pants, I want you to stop and say something has gone horribly wrong here. Do you normally keep $10,000 in your bank account, but QuickBooks thinks you have $1,000? Does QuickBooks think you're overdrawn by $100,000? Like, you may not know, like, oh, do I have $1,000 or $2,000? I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about it when the numbers are so incredibly different from what they are in real life. If your numbers here are wrong, they're wrong somewhere else. If you have a snowball of wrong numbers, it means you're not going to make good business decisions based on your financials, right? If you're trying to plan stuff, you have no idea if you're profitable or not. If you're filing your taxes, maybe you're messing those up because your numbers are wrong. As you scoot down the list, there may be some things that don't make sense to you. For example, we've got a track with an original cost. There may be some other stuff. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the things you're like, oh, it could be right, it could be wrong. I only want you to focus on the things that are definitely wrong. If you see anything that is definitely wrong, see if you can figure out what's wrong about it, or contact someone like me, your bookkeeper, your tax person, but not during tax season, and just ask for help. Just say, look, something has gone weird here, and I want to figure it out before it snowballs and gets to be an even bigger problem. Okay, so me to you, my recommendation is that you just take a look. If there's anything weird or out of place, make a plan to fix it. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Balances out of place. We talked about look for negatives. We kind of talked about that, but if you see a negative, if your checking account shows negative, your savings is negative, but you know that in real life that is not accurate. The next part is slightly harder to explain, but I'm really, the big picture here is I'm encouraging you to look at the balance sheet. So many people don't look at it, and it's usually where I spot the most mistakes. And so I'm just going to ask you to look for spikes, dips, and gaps. So let's go over to our balance sheet. We've got it organized, so it's last year, only because this is January. And I said, okay, by months, and so I have all my info here. And I'm just looking for anything that doesn't make any sense. Do I have any like weird stuff? Maybe I have a weird dip in my checking account, or maybe a big spike if I had a big sale, big expenses. Some of that, of course, would be normal. But what if my checking account had a month where it went negative? That would be a problem, because I would say, well, that didn't happen in real life. Or maybe my accounts receivable went negative. People owe me money. I don't typically owe my clients money, so it shouldn't go negative. There wouldn't really be a gap. But if you imagine, maybe you're the type of business that collects sales tax money and you turn it in. What if when you look at this and you kind of get down to the section where your sales tax is, what if you have a number every month and then suddenly you don't have a number? That would be unusual. That would be the sort of thing you'd want to look at it and say, did I not have any sales subject to sales tax that month? Like, why isn't it showing up here? So it's just things, right? You're just looking for anything that might be out of place that you might want to correct. So then I'm asking you to do two more things. And I want you to do these if you have the ability, even if you don't think you need to. I want you to look at your accounts payable for logic and your accounts receivable for logic. So not everybody has the version of QuickBooks that will show them an accounts payable report. If you can't find the report, you definitely have not made a mistake on the report. To get there, you'll click on Reports on the left. In the upper right-hand corner, we'll go to Accounts Payable. So I just like to type Payable. So it shows Accounts Payable Aging Summary. That's fine. I don't care what report you look at. I just want you to look at this and say, yep, I'm happy with what I see there. If you look at this and you're like, I don't know why that stuff is there, that's a sign that you need to get someone to help you and just fix it, and then also kind of talk to you about how to not put stuff there going forward. Let's do the same thing for accounts receivable. On the left, we'll click on Reports. Accounts receivable is almost always on the top, so I'm just going to click on it. And you're looking through here, and what you're looking at very specifically is to see, do I have anybody on here who has a value that they don't owe? So Red Rock Diner, according to my list, they're 61 to 90 days. They're more than 2 months past due, and they owe me money. Well, maybe I know my client Red Rock Diner, and maybe they don't owe me any money at all. This is the kind of thing that I know I want to figure out and fix. I want to fix it so my records are accurate, but I want to fix it because I might have automatic reminders going out, and they might be getting some sort of email from QuickBooks or Intuit that says, hey, Craig's Landscape would like to get paid, but you know that it's been paid. So I want your records to be accurate. I want you to just take a glance. If you see anything that's weird and you know how to fix it, great. If you don't know how to fix it, spend a few minutes looking. If you get super overwhelmed, my team and I are here to help you. The point of the checklist is not to get you to call us, although I'm happy if you do. The point of the checklist is to help you get comfortable navigating your QuickBooks and get comfortable looking at things that you might have made mistakes on. The checklist is built around my experience working with do-it-yourselfers in areas in which that I see they make mistakes. And so I decided, if we can make a simple one-page checklist targeting the mistakes, maybe we can catch them before they snowball. And maybe people can fix them themselves. Maybe just a few minutes on the phone with someone, they can fix them. Really, it's just from me to you to hopefully help you feel a little bit more comfortable navigating your QuickBooks. I'm going to make videos for each of these little sections, so that way you don't have to watch a very long video. If you have any questions, any concerns, or anything you'd like to see me make a video on, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comments. Thank you so much.